reason I'm back is two reasons. One, as I went to finish off the last video, I was chopped off. I noted that particular issues were taken off. The sound was going in and out all the time I was doing it, and I would love Telstra to complete my service to me on my computer, which I am paying for. The government is not, therefore the government needs a lawful law to control my access to here, and they don't have any. They can set a standard. The standard should be truth and fact, not their dribble and lies. Now, an issue has come up in relation to Terra Australis, and everything's done through there, and the Interpretation Act of 1901, sorry, it doesn't exist. It's a federal act, isn't it? We haven't had a lawful federal parliament, so it doesn't exist. What you're trying to say is, if it was its own entity and it belonged to Australia, there would have been justification for New South Wales to annex Norfolk Island to New South Wales. There would have been justification for Turnbull to tell the British Parliament to go away. Lord Howe Island belongs to Australia. There are territories above Australia and around Australia that actually belong to the British government. Actually belong to them, according to them, of course. I'm not saying they own them, I'm just saying that they are their territories. So what's our involvement in them? You're not saying. But you're allowing people to charge people to join a group called Terra Australis or whatever else they want to put. And it's not true. Where in the Constitution does it say the seat of government is on Norfolk Island? It doesn't. So if you pass a law moving the seat of government to Norfolk Island, then you're lying, you're committing a fraud. That is why New South Wales annexed Norfolk Island to itself and tried to tell Norfolk Island what to do. That was the reasoning behind it, and you couldn't see it because you weren't looking. You weren't researching and understand the reason behind what they're doing. The seat of government has to be inside the state of New South Wales, more than 100 miles from Sydney. There you are, it's in Canberra. They created the ACT, which all lies. All lies. Australian Capital Territory would have had to been approved by us as a separate territory to New South Wales, but it's not anyway. They would like you to think it is, but it's not. Why have you got two senators trying to get control of the Senate? You got two in the Northern Territory, which is the top of South Australia. When South Australia removed its correct constitution and sat in criminal contempt of 106 of the Constitution, nobody could annex anything off it. You had to recreate South Australia as a lawful state, and you can't. Remove the Constitution, which you did. Tasmania you did. New South Wales you did. Queensland you did by removing the upper house, and Western Australia you never ever put it in. So what are you relying on for the facts you claim to have? I don't care what's coming in and out of Terra Australis or Norfolk Island or whatever playtime comic area you create. The Commonwealth, which is the people, own all the minerals. The government does not. The government, in real terms, and only lawful terms, is a legislature. Its powers are limited by the Constitution. The Prime Minister is the President of the Parliament, or the Speaker. He has no other power than that. Anthony Albanese or Ellery, whatever his proper name is, sooner or later he's going to have to say what it really is. That would be nice. Truth for once. Can't see that happening. Anyway, let's get back to the subject matter. How, then, did you have an Interpretations Act? Who put it together? Who does it belong to? Does Norfolk Island fit into the Section 125 of the Constitution where the seat of government goes? How does it fit in there? It doesn't. So it doesn't exist. Because somebody comes on and proposes this nice little thing, and we can give you this, we can give you that. You can't give anybody anything unless it's justified by the Constitution. You are there to serve us, pass laws for us, not over us. To do that, you've got to sit inside the Commonwealth, held to the Constitution and the common law. Nothing else. If you don't do that, you're a moron and a clown. Excuse me, I'm not allowed to say moron. You are crazy. You cannot willfully and deliberately disobey the Constitution without consequence. You cannot enter property without a warrant. Here I am having a shot at him again. Anyway, you can't. You committed trespass. And I know for a fact you're not going to do anything about it. I won in the court against the city of Greater Geraldton, which is what I wanted to continue in the last thing. Terra Australis doesn't matter because it doesn't exist. It's a nonsense. Without any authority in law. If it has, show me. Interpretations Act, not lawful. Because we didn't have a lawful federal parliament. More garbage. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, I won the case against the council. The magistrate ruled, I cannot give you authority to remove his property off his land. The magistrate's words. 43 witnesses heard it. I cannot give you authority over the land. I don't have any authority. 43 witnesses heard it. He abandoned the court when I said the Green Constitution will put you behind bars for the rest of your life. He walked out the door with an armful of papers and a silly grin on his face, but he conceded to the challenge of the court. When I was dragged into the court, not last year, the year before, I challenged the jurisdiction of the court. Every court in Western Australia and moved the case into the High Court. They keep rejecting it. Doesn't mean they prove jurisdiction, and they still haven't. So you've got a huge problem to deal with what you're going to try. The second you put any case before any court in this state, there's no jurisdiction because you can't prove it. You can't pass a law changing what I did. Try it and see what happens. All they have to do is challenge your jurisdiction. You cannot have anything that you've got. This country is so stupefied and messed up. They're saying, even though it's ridiculous, silly, dumb and stupid applies to the parliaments of this country. They either know and don't want to do anything, haven't got a clue, or are just too stupid to know what they're doing. So that saying fits perfectly. So anyway, I'm not going to rave on here all day. There is no lawful entity as WA government. Doesn't matter what you say. It isn't in the federal constitution. It's not authorised by the federal constitution, and you have no control over land. And no one can give it to you except us. And when you asked us, we said no. Comprehend what we said, because that's going to haunt you and allow us to take every single thing you have, including Anthony, whoever you are, stranger to this country. You haven't proved who you are, and you have to. You don't own that house. We do. You are sitting in treason and fraud. We have the authority to take it back. But what effect does that have? Read 44 of the Constitution. No one in this Parliament, not even the Governor-General, has sworn the lawful oath. You don't exist. Don't say you do. Our Constitution said you're sitting in treason. I'm accusing you of being traitors, the whole lot of you. Every single person who disobeys the oath of allegiance contained in the Constitution, Section 42 says every senator, every member of the House of Representatives, before taking your seat, must swear the oath contained in the Constitution. Have you? No. The oath isn't changeable by any parliament because they have to swear their oath to it. The second they change it, they would breach that and therefore commit treason, breach the oath you owe to us the people. Comprehend what I'm saying. It's a serious offence. I'm not messing around, I'm not stupid, and I'm not a silly old bugger like you reckon. I'm a normal, everyday person that has the ability to read, remembering some of the things I do. Sometimes it's abnormal or whatever. I don't care. I use what I was gifted for the betterment of the people in this country and this country. You don't like that, boo-hoo, get over yourselves. At the end of the day, you do not have authority over land unless it's granted by the Constitution. Control, and it still remains the property of the Crown. Another lie. McGowan, you lied, you committed the fraud, but everything else you did is a fraud and a lie anyway. You were not a lawful parliament, never have been. There still is not a lawful parliament in Western Australia. Giggling Gertie, being Dodgy Roger, he was so happy that his con came off. But this document proves it was a con. Where in this document does it say, you can relieve, the Parliament can relieve the responsibilities of the governing bodies and give them to a foreign company? Where does it say that? So Malcolm McCusker, you've only got one choice. Rule that that's invalid. If you don't rule that, you don't need 3 months. The 3 months is to carry you over the federal election and no other reason. It's another con by the political parties to retain authority. You don't have any. You don't have any. Comprehend your powers are limited. The National Cabinet was already ruled fraud, and it is. You have no powers of quarantine. 1st of March 1902, it was removed. Bye-bye. You didn't have it. Didn't have it. And still don't. You cannot quarantine any state. It's not for the safety of the people. You know these bird flus are coming. Stop bringing bird produce from overseas. The birds are not flying in here. If they are, trap them. Block them. If they're carrying such a deadly disease that's transmissible to humans as soon as they look at you, because that's what it appears it does. I don't know, because it's not my field. So I'm not I'm just beside myself sometimes thinking, what the heck's going on in your minds? But then I realise you're not here to serve us. You're here to steal everything we got. Okay? And the one thing I can say is I've had the guts full of listening to you people whinge. I've given you the simple thing which takes away any criminality. If you don't strike a name off, that's just a contract according to them. But if you don't strike a name off and you submit a document, say, I, Wayne Kenneth of Family Glue, attended at your polling booth to vote. There's your intention to carry out a law if it's a law. But it isn't, but that's your intention. There were no lawful candidates. Why? This said so. And the only question of law becomes a maximum of law. Why not? You prove you had lawful candidates. You prove you had them there then. You didn't. Or any documents to prove they are. Yeah, Jenny Dean, bird flu is BS. I wouldn't care if it wasn't. I had measles, mumps, German measles, all those different things you get as a kid, and I don't get them now. Proving my immune system works good. If anyone else's does, good. If it doesn't, not my problem. Fix your immune system, you can apparently. Lots of people say you can. Anyway, you have a lovely day. And to all you people that comment, good, keep going. I'll answer them. If they're derogatory and not according to law, I'll answer them according to what you put them up as. Nonsense. Terra Australis? Nonsense. We established the Commonwealth of Australia. We didn't establish an island off the coast of Australia to run our affairs. If they're doing that, all you're doing is admitting they're committing blatant treason. What are you doing about it? Anything? Anything? Joining them? Trying to take off with somebody's idea of truth? No, sorry, doesn't work. You commit treason, you commit treason. Every politician that fronts up, contrary to this act, commits treason, and therefore is a traitor. If you're already in politics, you're traitors. You're incapable of sitting. So if they put you up as a candidate, they're putting up traitors. And they can't even exist. The governors of the states have to. So now you have a huge problem of traitor after traitor after traitor protecting each other. And it does date back to January the 1st, 1901, when most of this crap started. If you go back prior to Federation, especially in Western Australia, with the 1899 fraudulent act to alter the state constitution, and the alterations you did, you messed up Federation only in the fact that there are no lawful parliaments in this country, and therefore no lawful federal parliament. You can't change it without going back to January the 1st. I don't care if it's a good ship lollipop, or it's the fairies, or Peter Pan, or whatever other donkey you want to put up. Understand the Constitution and the facts that it puts in place. We the people are sovereign and supreme. The rest are subservient to both us, the Constitution, and the common laws of England. Like it or lump it. You tried to remove it, we said no. That's the end of it. So have a lovely day. Thank you.